Today we'll be talking all about our inner dialogue and how to stop negative self-talk. Welcome to another video. For those of you who are new here, my name is Nena and I'm a life coach that specializes in personal development. Here at this channel we talk about everything having to do with our emotional well-being, self-growth, and living our most awesome life possible. If you aren't already a subscriber, please take a moment and become one because we definitely want you to be part of our family. So our inner dialogue is kind of that ongoing voice that's in our head all the time, commenting on every single thing we do. The problem is that oftentimes this little voice in our head is not really a positive one. It is something that is often telling us the worst case scenarios or judging things in a very negative light or telling us very bad things about our own self. So it's easy to see why it can be problematic, but how can we really stop it? The first thing we need to do is actually notice it. So much of the time we have these kind of crazy thoughts going on in our head for extended amounts of time before we even notice that they are happening. So we really need to be more self-aware and realize when these thoughts are coming into our head. We also have to stop identifying with these thoughts. So we need to realize that these are just random thoughts passing through our head and we don't have to jump on every single train that comes our way. So we can start to really track these thoughts. We can see when we're having them, why we're having them, and why we're really listening to them. We can write them down in a journal and kind of study them and see which thoughts tend to come up more often for us. And once we've really noticed these thoughts and what they tend to be, we can challenge them. So what I mean by that is instead of just accepting them to be true the second they pop into our head, we can actively think about why they aren't true. We want to challenge them. So if a thought is telling us that we are incapable of doing something, we need to stop and say, well, why? Why are you telling me this, brain? We want to start to walk ourselves through the process of giving ourselves evidence why that thought would not be true in the first place. So think about all the things that would support the opposite. Remember that our subconscious is always listening. It is going to believe whatever we are telling it, and that is how it's going to create our entire reality. So we want to think about instead, what do we want to believe? What do we want to be true? And that is what we need to be telling ourselves. It really doesn't matter what we actually think about ourselves because we can work on building self-confidence, building self-esteem, and actually creating the life we want. But we have to remember that we actually have to tell ourselves positive things so we can create a positive blueprint for our life. We want to always be creating our own reality in the most beneficial way possible. So the last part of this is simply just practicing it. Our negative thought patterns and our inner dialogue are really based on habit. We are used to thinking of ourselves in a bad way, so it just perpetuates on. So we need to use a lot of active engagement to really start to change the way we think about ourselves. So some of the ways that we can do this are giving ourselves affirmations or writing in a journal, or again, I always say this, but meditation and really focusing on those positive things. But we want to make sure that we are consistently telling ourselves our new inner dialogue. One thing that you can definitely do is make sure you begin and end your day with these positive affirmations. So that's something that's easy to remember. You're going to wake up and tell yourself all these beautiful affirmations, and you're going to make sure that right before you fall asleep, you again give yourself these wonderful affirmations. Then you can really solidify this as a habit that will continue on in between during the day. So just remember that thoughts are just thoughts. They are often based on complete nonsense, so don't listen to them. Challenge every single thought you have, and remember that you can choose to think whatever you want. Remember, your brain is just like a garden. You can plant beautiful flowers or you can plant weeds. You want to make sure you're planting the most beautiful garden possible so you can have the most beautiful life possible. Well, I hope this video is helpful to you, and if it was, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone else who may need to hear this message today. Also, again, if you aren't already a subscriber, please take a moment to become one, and I greatly thank you for spending time with me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have an amazing day.